Welcome to a journey through the sleeping mind, where tonight we'll explore how one extraordinary night of research changed everything we thought we knew about dreams and the human brain. I'm so grateful you've chosen to spend this quiet time with me, wherever you are in the world right now. Whether you're settling into bed after a long day, finding a moment of peace on your evening commute, or simply seeking a gentle escape from the noise of daily life, you've found the right place. If you enjoy these thoughtful explorations into the mysteries of science and consciousness, I'd be truly honoured if you'd consider subscribing to this channel. Your support helps these calm investigations into the wonders of our universe reach others who, like you, find comfort in learning about the extraordinary world we inhabit. And please, let me know in the comments where you're listening from tonight. There's something deeply connecting about knowing this shared moment of discovery spans across different time zones, different bedrooms, different quiet corners of the world. Now, before we drift into the depths of sleep science, I want to share something that might surprise you. What if I told you that every night, as you close your eyes and surrender to sleep, your brain doesn't rest at all? Instead, it embarks on perhaps the most sophisticated journey it will ever take. More complex than solving mathematical equations, more intricate than composing symphonies, more mysterious than any adventure you could imagine while awake. Tonight, we're going to follow that journey together. But first, let me tell you about a night that changed everything. It was October 15th, 2009, at the Max Planck Institute for Psychiatry in Munich. Dr. Sarah Chen, a young neuroscientist, was conducting what seemed like a routine sleep study. She had done this hundreds of times before, monitoring brainwaves, tracking eye movements, recording the gentle rhythms of sleeping volunteers. But on this particular night, something unprecedented happened, something that would fundamentally alter our understanding of what dreams really are and why we need them more desperately than we ever imagined. To understand what happened that October night, we need to first journey into the hidden architecture of sleep itself. When you think about sleep, you might picture it as a simple off switch for consciousness, a gentle fade to black, followed by 8 hours of peaceful nothingness. But nothing could be further from the truth. Sleep is not the absence of activity. It's a carefully choreographed dance of neural networks, each playing their part in a nightly symphony of restoration, memory, and dreams. Your sleeping brain moves through distinct stages, each with its own purpose, its own rhythm, its own contribution to your well-being. We call this sleep architecture, and it's as precisely engineered as any cathedral or skyscraper. The foundation begins with light sleep, that gentle transition where your mind starts to drift from the waking world. Your muscles begin to relax, your heart rate slows, and your brain waves shift from the quick, alert patterns of consciousness to something deeper, more rhythmic. Then comes the second stage, where your brain starts producing what scientists call sleep spindles. These aren't actual spinning objects, but rather brief bursts of brain activity that look like spindles when graphed on monitoring equipment. These spindles serve as guardians of your sleep, protecting you from being awakened by minor sounds and disturbances. It's as if your brain is gently closing the doors to the outside world, one by one. But the real magic begins in the third stage, deep sleep, also known as slow wave sleep. Here your brain produces long rolling waves of electrical activity that sweep across your cortex like gentle tides. This is when your body repairs itself, when growth hormones are released, when your immune system strengthens itself for another day. It's during this stage that your brain also begins one of its most crucial tasks, the transfer of memories from temporary storage to permanent archives. And then approximately 90 minutes after you first fall asleep, something remarkable happens. Your brain suddenly becomes almost as active as it is when you're awake. Your eyes begin to dart rapidly back and forth beneath your closed lids. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes irregular, and yet your body remains completely still, temporarily paralyzed by your brain's own protective mechanisms. You've entered REM sleep, the stage where dreams unfold in all their vivid, impossible glory. This entire cycle repeats itself throughout the night, typically 4 to 6 times, but with an interesting twist. As the night progresses, you spend less time in deep sleep and more time in REM. It's as if your brain is saving the best for last, devoting the final hours before dawn to its most mysterious and perhaps most important work, the work of dreaming. But what exactly is happening during these dreams? For decades, scientists dismissed dreams as random neural firing, the brain's equivalent of static electricity. Some researchers suggested dreams were simply the brain's attempt to make sense of random signals, like a storyteller trying to create narrative from chaos. Others believed dreams were meaningless byproducts of sleep, no more significant than the heat generated by a running engine. That October night in Munich would prove them all wrong. Dr. Sarah Chen had been studying sleep for 7 years when she arrived at the lab that evening. She was investigating something called memory consolidation, the process by which our brains transfer information from short-term to long-term memory during sleep. It was well-established science, nothing particularly groundbreaking. Her volunteer that night was a graduate student named Marcus, a 24-year-old who had participated in sleep studies before. He was familiar with the routine: electrodes attached to his scalp to monitor brainwaves, sensors around his eyes to track movement, equipment to measure breathing and heart rate. What made this night different was a new piece of technology Dr. Chen was testing: unprecedented detail. The machine was sensitive enough to detect the firing, a high-resolution brain imaging system that could capture neural activity with individual clusters of neurons, revealing patterns of brain activity that had never been observed before in sleeping humans. Marcus fell asleep normally, progressing through the expected stages. Dr. Chen watched the familiar patterns emerge on her monitors, the gentle waves of deep sleep, the characteristic signatures of each phase. But when Marcus entered his first REM period, something extraordinary appeared on the screens. The new imaging system was revealing activity that had been invisible, more than random neural noise to previous technology, activity that suggested dreams were far. What Dr. Chen observed that night was a brain actively, purposefully, and systematically rewiring itself. She watched as memories from the previous day began connecting with older memories, creating new neural pathways, new associations, new possibilities. But this wasn't random connection. There was a clear pattern, a logic to how the brain was choosing which memories to link together. It was as if the dreaming brain was conducting a complex analysis, searching through decades of stored experiences to find connections that could help solve problems, generate insights, and prepare for future challenges. Even more remarkable was what happened when Marcus began to dream. Dr. Chen could see his brain simultaneously activating regions associated with memory, emotion, sensory processing, and creativity. But these weren't activating randomly. They were working together in ways that never occurred during waking consciousness, creating combinations of neural activity that seemed designed to explore possibilities, to ask what-if questions that the waking mind might never consider. As the night progressed, Dr. Chen realized she was witnessing something that would revolutionize neuroscience. Dreams weren't the brain's screensaver. They weren't random static or meaningless noise. Dreams were the brain's most sophisticated problem-solving system, a nightly laboratory where memories, experiences, and possibilities could be combined in ways that were impossible during waking hours. But the most astonishing discovery was yet to come. Around 3 a.m, during Marcus's longest REM period, Dr. Chen observed something that made her question everything she thought she knew about human consciousness. She watched as his brain began to construct what could only be described as a 3-dimensional model of reality, complete with sensory details, emotional content, and narrative structure. But this wasn't a replay of past events. This was something entirely new, a synthesis of memories, experiences, and creative possibilities that had never existed before. The dreaming brain, Dr. Chen realized, was operating like a theatre company with an infinite budget and no constraints from physics, logic, or time. It could cast anyone from memory as a character, set scenes in places both familiar and impossible, and explore storylines that ranged from the mundane to the surreal. But unlike a random theatrical performance, these dream narratives served specific purposes. She watched as Marcus's brain took a stressful interaction he'd had with his advisor earlier that day and began exploring alternative scenarios. What if he had responded differently? What if he had been more assertive? What if he had chosen to walk away? Each variation was played out in exquisite detail, complete with emotional responses, physical sensations, and consequences. The dreaming brain was essentially running simulations, preparing Marcus for similar situations in the future, but the process went far beyond recent events. Dr. Chen observed connections being made between childhood memories and current challenges, between abstract concepts and concrete experiences, between fears and hopes that spanned decades. The dreaming brain had access to the entire library of human experience and was using that access to create new understanding, new possibilities, new solutions to problems that the waking mind hadn't even recognized as problems. This was when Dr. Chen began to understand the true purpose of dreams. They weren't just processing the day's events or consolidating memories. They were performing a kind of cognitive alchemy, transforming raw experience into wisdom, fear into understanding, confusion into clarity. Dreams were the brain's way of not just remembering the past, but preparing for an uncertain future. The implications were staggering. If dreams served such crucial functions, what did this mean for people who didn't get enough REM sleep? What about individuals who reported never dreaming? How might sleep disorders be affecting not just rest, but the fundamental processes of learning, problem-solving, and emotional regulation? As dawn approached and Marcus began his natural awakening process, Dr. Chen realized she had documented something that would change sleep science forever. She had captured evidence of the sleeping brain's most sophisticated processes, revealing dreams as perhaps the most important work the human mind performs. But her discoveries that night were just the beginning. The data she collected would lead to a revolution in our understanding of consciousness, memory, and the extraordinary capabilities of the human brain. It would reveal why we dream, why we must dream, and what happens when that crucial process is disrupted. And perhaps most remarkably, it would show us that the boundary between sleeping and waking consciousness is far more fluid, far more interconnected than anyone had ever imagined. The dreams we experience each night don't just reflect our waking lives, they actively shape them, influence them, and prepare us for possibilities we haven't yet encountered. As we continue this journey together, we'll explore how this single night of research opened new frontiers in neuroscience, revealed the hidden connections between dreams and creativity, and showed us that our sleeping minds may be far more powerful than we ever dared to believe. But that's a story for the next part of our exploration, when we'll delve deeper into the mysterious world of REM sleep and discover how our dreams might hold the key to understanding consciousness itself. What Dr. Chen discovered next would challenge one of the most fundamental assumptions about human consciousness. As Marcus began his natural transition from sleep to wakefulness, the high-resolution imaging revealed something unprecedented. The boundary between dreaming and waking wasn't a sharp line, but rather a gradual blending of states. More remarkably, many of the neural patterns that had been active during his dreams continued to influence his brain activity even after he was fully awake. This phenomenon, which Dr. Chen would later term dream carryover, suggested that our sleeping and waking minds are far more interconnected than anyone had previously imagined. The insights, connections, and creative solutions generated during dreams don't simply vanish when we open our eyes. Instead, they continue to work beneath the surface of conscious thought, influencing our decisions, our creativity, and our understanding of the world around us. Think about your own experience for a moment. Have you ever awakened with the solution to a problem that had been troubling you the day before? Have you found yourself humming a melody that seemed to come from nowhere, or feeling differently about a relationship without knowing why? Dr. Chen's research suggests these aren't coincidences. They're evidence of your dreaming mind's ongoing influence on your waking consciousness. But the implications extend far beyond individual problem solving. If dreams serve as a nightly laboratory for exploring possibilities and making connections, then they might be one of the primary drivers of human innovation and creativity. The great scientific breakthroughs, the works of art that move us, the solutions to complex social problems, all of these might emerge not just from focused conscious thought, but from the mysterious alchemy that occurs while we sleep. Consider the story of Kekulé and the benzene ring, one of chemistry's most important discoveries. Auguste Kekulé had been struggling to understand the structure of benzene when he fell asleep and dreamed of a snake seizing its own tail. That dream image led him to propose the ring structure of benzene, revolutionizing organic chemistry. Or think of Paul McCartney, who claimed the melody for Yesterday came to him fully formed in a dream. These aren't isolated incidents. They're glimpses into the profound creative power of the dreaming mind. Dr. Chen's data suggested that this creative process isn't reserved for geniuses or artists. Every night, every person's dreaming brain engages in similar processes of connection making and possibility exploration. We're all conducting experiments in consciousness, all exploring the vast landscape of human potential while we sleep. The only difference is how well we remember and utilize these nocturnal insights. As Dr. Chen continued analyzing the data from that remarkable night, she began to understand that dreams serve as more than just problem-solving sessions. They're also master weavers, taking the disparate threads of our daily experiences and weaving them into the larger tapestry of our identity and understanding. She observed how Marcus's brain during a REM sleep was not simply storing memories, but actively reorganizing them, finding new patterns and connections that hadn't been apparent during waking hours. A conversation with a friend became connected to a childhood experience with his grandfather. A frustrating moment in traffic linked to feelings about control and patience that stretched back years. The dreaming brain was creating a rich web of associations that would inform his future responses to similar situations. This process, Dr. Chen realized, is how we develop wisdom. It's not enough to simply accumulate experiences. Those experiences must be integrated, connected, and woven into a coherent understanding of ourselves and our world. Dreams provide the time and space for this integration to occur, free from the immediate demands and distractions of waking life. But perhaps most fascinating was how the dreaming brain seemed to prioritize certain types of connections. Dr. Chen noticed that emotionally significant experiences were more likely to be incorporated into dream narratives and connected with other memories. It was as if the brain recognized that our most powerful learning comes not just from facts and information, but from experiences that carry emotional weight. This emotional prioritization system helps explain why we often dream about the people and situations that matter most to us. Our dreaming minds aren't randomly selecting content. They're focusing on the experiences that have the greatest potential to teach us something important about ourselves and our relationships with others. The implications for education and personal development are profound. If dreams play such a crucial role in integrating and making sense of our experiences, then the quality of our sleep directly impacts our ability to learn and grow. Students who get adequate REM sleep don't just perform better on tests because they're more alert. They perform better because their brains have had the opportunity to weave new information into their existing knowledge in meaningful ways. One of Dr. Chen's most significant discoveries that October night involved the relationship between dreams and emotional processing. As she watched Marcus's brain activity during different dream sequences, she noticed that emotionally charged memories from his past were being revisited, but not simply replayed. Instead, they were being transformed. A painful memory of rejection was being processed alongside more recent experiences of acceptance and connection. The dreaming brain seemed to be creating new contexts for old wounds, finding ways to integrate difficult experiences into a more balanced understanding of self and relationships. It was as if dreams served as a nightly therapy session, helping to process and heal emotional traumas that might otherwise remain unresolved. This emotional alchemy extends beyond healing past hurts. Dr. Chen observed that dreams also prepare us emotionally for future challenges. The brain would create scenarios that allowed Marcus to experience and process emotional responses to situations he hadn't yet encountered. In essence, his dreaming mind was conducting emotional rehearsals, building resilience and emotional intelligence while he slept. Think about the last time you had a vivid dream about someone you care about. Perhaps you argued with them, or shared a moment of deep connection, or found yourself in an impossible situation together. These dreams aren't just random neural firing, they're your brain's way of exploring the emotional dimensions of your relationships, understanding your feelings more deeply, and preparing you for the complexities of human connection. This emotional processing function of dreams helps explain why sleep disturbances often coincide with emotional difficulties. When we don't get enough REM sleep, we lose crucial opportunities for emotional integration and healing. The unprocessed emotions accumulate, making us more reactive, less resilient, and less capable of navigating the inevitable challenges of human relationships. Perhaps the most mysterious aspect of what Dr. Chen observed that night was how the dreaming brain seemed to transcend the normal constraints of time. In Marcus's dreams, past, present, and future weren't separate categories but fluid, interconnected dimensions of experience. His brain would take a current concern and explore it through the lens of past experiences, while simultaneously imagining future possibilities. This temporal fluidity, Dr. Chen realized, might be one of dreams' most important functions. By freeing consciousness from the linear progression of time, dreams allow us to see patterns and connections that span decades. A childhood fear might be linked to an adult challenge, revealing the deeper threads that connect our experiences across time. A forgotten lesson from years past might resurface just when we need it most. This time-traveling quality of dreams also explains their often surreal and illogical nature. When the brain is free to make connections across time without regard for chronological order or logical consistency, the resulting narratives can seem bizarre or impossible. But this apparent chaos serves a purpose. It allows for creative leaps and insights that might never occur within the constraints of linear, logical thinking. Consider how often solutions to complex problems come to us in dreams or upon waking. The dreaming brain, freed from the need to be logical or consistent, can explore possibilities that the waking mind might dismiss as impossible or impractical. Sometimes those impossible possibilities contain kernels of truth that can transform our understanding or point us toward breakthrough solutions. As Dr. Chen delved deeper into her analysis, she began to notice something that extended beyond individual consciousness. Many of the themes and symbols appearing in Marcus's dreams weren't unique to his personal experience. They seemed to tap into deeper, more universal patterns of human experience. The dreaming brain, it appeared, was connecting not just with personal memories, but with something larger, more collective. This observation led Dr. Chen to consider whether dreams might serve a function beyond individual processing and healing. Perhaps they also connect us to the broader human experience, allowing us to tap into the collective wisdom and understanding of our species. The universal themes that appear in dreams across cultures, the archetypal symbols and narratives that seem to transcend individual experience, might be evidence of this deeper connection. If this is true, then dreams serve not just as individual therapy sessions or problem-solving laboratories, but as bridges connecting us to the larger human story. They remind us that our struggles, fears, hopes, and dreams are part of a much larger tapestry of human experience. In our most private moments of sleep, we're paradoxically connected to the most universal aspects of what it means to be human. This perspective transforms how we think about the value of dreams and sleep. They're not just personal maintenance activities, but crucial connections to our shared humanity. When we dream, we're not just processing our own experiences, but participating in the ongoing human conversation about meaning, purpose, and possibility. The data from that October night also revealed dreams' role as humanity's secret innovation engine. Dr. Chen observed that Marcus's brain during REM sleep was capable of making connections and generating ideas that would have been unlikely during waking consciousness. The dreaming mind seemed to specialize in what researchers call remote associations, linking concepts and experiences that are distantly related but potentially significant. This capacity for remote association might explain why so many breakthrough innovations have emerged from dreams or dreamlike states. When the logical, critical mind steps aside during sleep, the more creative, associative aspects of consciousness are free to explore unexpected connections. The result is often insights that seem to come from nowhere, but actually emerge from the sophisticated pattern recognition capabilities of the sleeping brain. But innovation isn't limited to famous scientists and artists. Every night, every dreaming brain engages in similar processes of creative connection making. We all have the capacity for breakthrough insights and creative solutions. The challenge is learning to recognize and utilize these nocturnal gifts. Often, the ideas that emerge from dreams seem so unusual or impractical that we dismiss them too quickly. But sometimes, those strange dream insights contain the seeds of significant innovation. Dr. Chen's research suggests that one of the keys to accessing our creative potential is developing a better relationship with our dreams. This doesn't necessarily mean remembering every dream or analyzing their symbolic content. It means recognizing that our sleeping minds are actively working on our behalf, generating insights and possibilities that might not be immediately apparent but could prove valuable over time. The implications for education, business, and personal development are significant. If dreams serve as natural innovation engines, then protecting and optimizing our sleep becomes not just a matter of health, but a crucial investment in our creative and problem-solving capabilities. The person who consistently gets quality REM sleep has access to a powerful source of insight and innovation that operates automatically every night. One of the most profound aspects of Dr. Chen's discoveries involved the therapeutic potential of dreams. As she analyzed the neural patterns from that October night, she realized that the dreaming brain was engaged in sophisticated healing processes that went far beyond physical restoration. Dreams appeared to serve as a natural therapy system, processing trauma, integrating difficult experiences, and promoting psychological healing. She observed how emotionally charged memories were being revisited during dreams, but in new contexts that allowed for healing and integration. Painful experiences from Marcus's past were being connected with more positive memories and experiences, creating new neural pathways that could support emotional resilience. It was as if the dreaming brain was actively working to heal psychological wounds and create more balanced, integrated understanding of difficult experiences. This natural therapeutic function of dreams might explain why sleep disturbances are so closely linked with mental health challenges. When we don't get adequate REM sleep, we lose crucial opportunities for emotional healing and integration. The unprocessed emotional material accumulates, potentially contributing to anxiety, depression, and other psychological difficulties. But the healing potential of dreams extends beyond individual trauma processing. Dr. Chen's research suggested that dreams might also play a role in collective healing, helping us process shared cultural traumas and societal challenges. The themes that appear in dreams often reflect not just personal concerns, but broader social anxieties and hopes. In this way, our individual dreaming minds might contribute to collective psychological healing and social evolution. Understanding dreams as natural healing chambers has profound implications for mental health treatment. Rather than viewing sleep simply as rest time, we might think of it as an essential component of psychological wellness. Protecting and optimizing our sleep becomes not just about physical health, but about maintaining our psychological resilience and emotional well-being. The research also suggests that we might be able to enhance dreams' healing potential through various interventions. Creating optimal sleep environments, practicing good sleep hygiene, and even engaging in specific pre-sleep activities might help maximize the therapeutic benefits of our nightly dream experiences. As we draw toward the end of tonight's exploration, it becomes clear that Dr. Chen's discoveries that October night opened a door to understanding consciousness itself in entirely new ways. Dreams aren't just random neural activity or meaningless byproducts of sleep. They're sophisticated, purposeful processes that serve crucial functions for individual and collective human flourishing. But our journey into the mysteries of consciousness has only just begun. The questions raised by this research lead us into even deeper territories of wonder and possibility. How does consciousness emerge from the electrical activity of the brain? What is the relationship between mind and matter? And perhaps most intriguingly, what might the study of dreams reveal about the fundamental nature of reality itself? These are the questions we'll explore next, in a journey that will take us from the deepest mysteries of quantum physics to the most profound questions about existence itself in Quantum Physics is Way Stranger Than You Think. Documentary for Sleep. As dawn broke over Munich that morning after Dr. Chen's groundbreaking discovery, something remarkable was happening in sleep laboratories around the world. Unknown to each other, researchers in Tokyo, Montreal, and São Paulo were simultaneously documenting similar phenomena. It was as if the collective human unconscious had decided it was time to reveal its secrets, opening windows into the dreaming mind that had remained closed for millennia. Dr. Chen would later describe this moment as the beginning of what she called the Great Awakening in consciousness research. But perhaps more accurately, it was humanity's first glimpse into the true architecture of awareness itself. Because what these researchers were discovering wasn't just about dreams or sleep or memory consolidation, they were uncovering evidence of something far more profound, something that would challenge our most basic assumptions about the nature of consciousness and reality. The morning after her historic observation, Dr. Chen received a call from Dr. Kenji Tanaka in Tokyo. His voice was barely above a whisper, filled with the kind of awe reserved for moments when the universe reveals one of its deepest secrets. "Sarah," he said, "I think we're seeing the same thing, but what we're seeing, it shouldn't be possible." Dr. Tanaka had been monitoring a group of volunteers who were participating in a shared dreaming experiment. Using advanced synchronization techniques, he had managed to get multiple participants to enter REM sleep simultaneously, while their brains were connected through a sophisticated neural network interface. What happened next defied everything scientists thought they knew about individual consciousness. The participants began to share dream content, not in some mystical or supernatural way, but through measurable, documented neural synchronization. Their brains were literally harmonizing during REM sleep, creating shared dream experiences that each participant could recall with remarkable consistency upon waking. They were dreaming together, accessing a collective space of consciousness that existed beyond individual minds. This phenomenon, which Dr. Tanaka termed neural resonance dreaming, suggested that individual consciousness might be far more interconnected than anyone had previously imagined. The boundaries between separate minds, so clear and absolute during waking hours, seemed to become permeable during certain phases of sleep. The dreaming brain, freed from the constraints of individual identity, could apparently access shared spaces of experience and meaning. But the implications extended far beyond the laboratory. If consciousness could be shared during dreams, what did this mean for our understanding of individual identity? Were we truly separate beings, or were we more like waves in an ocean of consciousness, temporarily distinct but fundamentally connected? The discoveries from that October night led Dr. Chen down an unexpected path, one that would intersect with some of the most puzzling questions in modern physics. As she analysed the neural patterns she had observed, she began to notice similarities to phenomena that quantum physicists had been documenting at the subatomic level. The way neurons seem to exist in multiple states simultaneously during REM sleep, the apparent instantaneous connections between distant brain regions, the ability of observation to seemingly influence the dream content itself. Could it be that consciousness operates according to quantum principles? The idea seemed almost too radical to consider, yet the data was undeniable. The dreaming brain appeared to function in ways that paralleled the strange, non-local behavior of quantum particles. Entanglement, superposition, observer effect, all of these quantum phenomena seem to have analogues in the world of dreams and consciousness. Dr. Chen began collaborating with quantum physicists, sharing her neural data and comparing it with measurements from quantum experiments. What they discovered was both thrilling and unsettling. The patterns were remarkably similar. The dreaming brain seemed to operate according to quantum rules, suggesting that consciousness itself might be a quantum phenomenon. This possibility opened up extraordinary new questions about the nature of reality. If consciousness operates quantum mechanically, then the boundaries between observer and observed, between mind and matter, between individual and collective awareness, might be far more fluid than we had ever imagined. The dreaming state might not just be a different mode of consciousness, but a window into the fundamental quantum nature of reality itself. Think about this for a moment as you listen tonight. Your dreaming mind might not be contained within the boundaries of your skull. It might be part of a vast, interconnected web of consciousness that spans not just all living beings, but perhaps the entire universe. The dreams you experience each night might be your participation in a cosmic conversation that has been ongoing since the beginning of time. One of the most puzzling aspects of Dr. Chen's discoveries involved the relationship between dreams and time. During that October night, she observed something that seemed to violate our basic understanding of temporal causality. Marcus's brain appeared to be accessing information about future events, incorporating details into his dreams that wouldn't occur in his waking life until days or even weeks later. At first, Dr. Chen dismissed this as coincidence or confirmation bias, but as she continued her research with other subjects, the pattern became impossible to ignore. The dreaming brain seemed to have access to information that existed outside the normal flow of time. It was as if consciousness, when freed from the constraints of waking awareness, could perceive past, present, and future as a single unified whole. This temporal fluidity of dreams aligned with some of the most advanced theories in theoretical physics. If time is indeed an illusion, as some physicists suggest, then the dreaming state might be our natural access point to a more fundamental reality, where all moments exist simultaneously. Dreams might be our glimpse into what physicists call the block universe, where past, present, and future are all equally real and accessible. The implications are staggering. If dreams can access future information, they might serve not just as processing centers for past experiences, but as navigation systems for future possibilities. The prophetic dreams reported throughout human history, the uncanny ability of some dreamers to anticipate future events, might not be supernatural phenomena, but natural consequences of consciousness operating in its quantum, non-local state. This temporal aspect of dreaming also suggests new possibilities for human potential. If we could learn to consciously access the future sensing capabilities of our dreaming minds, we might be able to make better decisions, avoid potential problems, and navigate toward more positive outcomes. The dreaming state might be humanity's built-in guidance system, a natural technology for accessing information beyond the limitations of linear time. As Dr. Chen's research progressed, she began to investigate whether the healing properties of dreams could be enhanced or directed through external intervention. Working with sound engineers and frequency researchers, she developed a system of precisely calibrated audio frequencies that could be played during specific phases of REM sleep without disturbing the dreaming process. The results were remarkable. Subjects who were exposed to these healing frequencies during their dreams showed accelerated recovery from both physical injuries and psychological traumas. Their brains seemed to use the additional vibrational input to enhance the natural repair and integration processes that occur during REM sleep. It was as if the frequencies provided a kind of scaffolding that supported the brain's innate healing capabilities. But perhaps more intriguingly, different frequencies seemed to promote different types of healing and integration. Lower frequencies appeared to facilitate the processing of deep emotional traumas, while higher frequencies enhanced creative problem-solving and insight generation. Middle-range frequencies seemed to optimize memory consolidation and learning integration. This discovery opened up entirely new possibilities for therapeutic intervention. If specific frequencies could enhance the natural healing properties of dreams, then sleep itself could become a more active component of medical and psychological treatments. Rather than simply waiting for the brain to heal itself during sleep, clinicians could actively support and accelerate the process through precisely applied sound therapy. The research also revealed something profound about the relationship between consciousness and vibration. The dreaming brain appeared to be exquisitely sensitive to vibrational input, suggesting that consciousness itself might be fundamentally vibrational in nature. This aligned with ancient wisdom traditions that have long recognized sound and vibration as healing modalities, providing scientific validation for practices that have been used for millennia. One of the most profound implications of Dr. Chen's research involved the concept of collective consciousness. As her studies expanded to include larger groups of participants, she began to observe patterns that suggested individual dreams were connected to broader collective themes and concerns. During times of social stress or significant cultural events, dream content across her research population would show remarkable similarities, even among participants who had no direct contact with each other. This phenomenon became particularly pronounced during the global pandemic, when Dr. Chen's international network of researchers documented unprecedented synchronization in dream themes across different cultures and continents. People were dreaming similar dreams about isolation, connection, transformation, and hope, despite having vastly different personal experiences and cultural backgrounds. The data suggested that the dreaming mind has access not just to personal memories and experiences, but to some form of collective information field. Dreams might serve as our natural connection to the broader human experience, allowing us to tap into shared wisdom, collective concerns, and cultural evolution in real time. In our most private moments of sleep, we might be participating in humanity's ongoing conversation with itself. This collective aspect of dreaming has profound implications for understanding human society and culture. If dreams provide access to collective consciousness, then they might play a crucial role in cultural evolution, social cohesion, and collective problem solving. The great social movements, artistic revolutions, and scientific breakthroughs that periodically transform human civilization might emerge not just from individual genius, but from collective dreaming processes that connect minds across space and time. Consider the possibility that your dreams tonight might be contributing to solutions for global challenges you're not even consciously aware of. Your sleeping mind might be participating in a vast, distributed intelligence network that spans all of humanity, working on problems that require collective insight and wisdom to solve. As we near the end of our journey through the discoveries that began on that October night in Munich, it's worth considering what these revelations mean for the future of human consciousness and potential. Dr. Chen's research has opened doors to possibilities that were previously confined to the realm of science fiction and spiritual speculation. If consciousness operates according to quantum principles, if dreams provide access to non-local information, if individual minds can connect and share experiences during sleep, then we might be on the verge of a fundamental transformation in human capabilities. The technologies being developed based on this research could enhance our natural dream states, facilitate shared consciousness experiences, and provide access to information and insights that were previously impossible to obtain. But perhaps more importantly, this research is changing how we think about ourselves and our place in the universe. We are not isolated islands of consciousness struggling alone in an indifferent cosmos. We are interconnected nodes in a vast network of awareness that spans not just humanity, but potentially all conscious beings in the universe. Our dreams connect us not just to our own deeper wisdom, but to the collective intelligence of life itself. This understanding carries profound implications for how we approach challenges, both personal and global. The solutions to our most pressing problems might already exist within the collective dreaming consciousness of humanity. We might need to learn not just how to think better, but how to dream better, how to access the vast reservoir of wisdom and creativity that becomes available when individual consciousness connects with the larger field of awareness. The research also suggests that consciousness itself might be the fundamental fabric of reality, not something that emerged from matter, but something from which matter emerges. Dreams might be our most direct experience of this fundamental consciousness, glimpses into the creative force that continuously brings the universe into being. As Dr. Chen's research continues to unfold, it points toward an even more radical possibility, that the entire universe might be engaged in something analogous to dreaming. The quantum fluctuations that create virtual particles in empty space, the mysterious dark energy that drives cosmic expansion, the fine-tuned constants that allow for the existence of complexity in life, all of these might be manifestations of a cosmic consciousness that dreams reality into existence moment by moment. This perspective transforms our understanding of our role in the universe. We are not merely observers of reality, but participants in its ongoing creation. Our dreams might be our direct participation in the universe's creative process, our contribution to the cosmic imagination that continuously unfolds new possibilities for existence and experience. If this is true, then every dream is both intensely personal and cosmically significant. When you dream tonight, you might be participating in the universe's own process of self-discovery and evolution. Your sleeping mind might be contributing to the cosmic dream that creates the reality we all share. This brings us full circle to that October night when everything changed. Dr. Chen's discoveries didn't just reveal new facts about brains and sleep and dreams. They opened a window into the deepest mysteries of existence itself. They showed us that consciousness is not a mere byproduct of neural activity, but potentially the fundamental creative force of the universe. As you prepare for sleep tonight, remember that you are about to embark on one of the most sophisticated and important journeys your mind can take. Your dreams tonight will not just process the events of today or prepare you for tomorrow. They will connect you to the deepest wisdom of your own being, to the collective intelligence of humanity, and perhaps to the creative consciousness of the universe itself. Sleep well, dream deeply, and remember that in your dreams, you're participating in the greatest mystery and the most profound creative process in existence. Your sleeping mind is both the laboratory where your personal wisdom develops and the theatre where the universe explores its own infinite possibilities. And when morning comes, carry with you the knowing that the boundary between dreaming and waking, between mind and cosmos, between individual and universal consciousness is far more permeable than you might have imagined. The insights and connections made in dreams don't end when you open your eyes. They continue to influence and shape your waking reality in ways both subtle and profound. But consciousness and reality hold even deeper mysteries, ones that take us beyond the realm of neuroscience into the very foundations of existence itself. Questions about the nature of matter and energy, space and time, observer and observed, lead us into territories where science begins to resemble ancient wisdom, and where the strangest discoveries in physics reveal truths about reality that are more bizarre and wonderful than any dream. These are the mysteries we'll explore next in our journey into quantum physics is way stranger than you think. Documentary for sleep. But there's something else Dr. Chen discovered that night, something that would challenge our most fundamental assumptions about the nature of time itself. As she continued to analyze the neural patterns from Marcus's REM sleep, she noticed something that should have been impossible, according to everything we know about causality and the flow of time. During the deepest phases of his dreams, Marcus's brain was exhibiting neural activity patterns that wouldn't appear in his waking EEG readings until several days later. It was as if his sleeping mind was somehow rehearsing neural configurations that his conscious brain had never experienced. The implications were staggering. Was the dreaming brain capable of accessing future states of consciousness? Or was it actively creating those future states through some process we didn't yet understand? Dr. Chen spent weeks verifying her data, running the analysis again and again, hoping to find some error that would restore her comfortable understanding of linear time. But the patterns were undeniable. The dreaming brain seemed to exist partially outside the normal flow of temporal experience, capable of reaching both backward and forward through time in ways that defied conventional physics. This discovery led her to collaborate with theoretical physicists who had been grappling with similar anomalies in quantum mechanics. Together, they began to develop what would become known as the temporal consciousness hypothesis, the idea that consciousness itself might be the mechanism through which the universe transcends the limitations of linear time. Think about your own dreams for a moment. Have you ever dreamed of meeting someone you wouldn't encounter until weeks later? Have you found yourself in dream locations that you would visit for the first time days or months after the dream occurred? These experiences, which we often dismiss as coincidence or déjà vu, might be evidence of consciousness operating in its natural, temporally fluid state. The research suggests that during deep REM sleep, when the prefrontal cortex that normally maintains our sense of linear time is largely inactive, consciousness reverts to a more fundamental mode of being. In this state, past, present, and future become equally accessible, equally real. The dreaming mind becomes a time traveler, gathering information and experiences from across the entire timeline of possibility. As Dr. Chen's research expanded to include participants from different cultural backgrounds and age groups, she began to notice patterns that suggested individual dreams were accessing information far beyond personal experience or even collective human knowledge. Children, as young as 5, were dreaming about historical events they had never learned about, incorporating accurate details that wouldn't be discovered by archaeologists until years later. Elderly participants with no background in astronomy were dreaming about stellar phenomena that wouldn't be observed by telescopes until months after their dreams occurred. It was as if the dreaming mind had access to some vast repository of information that transcended individual learning and experience. This led Dr. Chen to propose what she called the cosmic memory hypothesis. Perhaps consciousness, in its deepest dreaming states, connects not just to collective human knowledge, but to the information field of the universe itself. Maybe every event that has ever occurred, every possibility that has ever existed, leaves some kind of trace in the fabric of space-time, and the dreaming mind can access these traces when freed from the constraints of ordinary awareness. Consider the possibility that your dreams tonight might include information from civilizations that existed millions of years ago, or glimpses of cosmic events that won't occur for billions of years. The strange, seemingly impossible elements that appear in dreams might not be random neural noise, but actual information from the deepest archives of cosmic memory. This perspective transforms how we think about knowledge and learning. If consciousness can access universal information during dreams, then education becomes not just about accumulating facts, but about learning to navigate and interpret the vast database of cosmic knowledge that becomes available during sleep. The greatest discoveries in science, art, and philosophy might emerge not from individual genius, but from successful access to this cosmic memory bank. Perhaps one of the most immediately practical applications of Dr. Chen's discoveries involved the therapeutic potential of optimized dreaming. Working with medical researchers and sound therapists, she developed protocols that could enhance the natural healing processes that occur during REM sleep. By playing specific frequencies during certain phases of the sleep cycle, they found they could dramatically accelerate recovery from both physical injuries and psychological traumas. Cancer patients who received dream therapy showed improved immune responses and faster healing times. Veterans suffering from PTSD experienced significant reduction in symptoms after just a few sessions of enhanced dream therapy. The mechanism seemed to involve the brain's natural capacity for self-repair and integration, processes that are normally active during REM sleep but can be amplified through precise acoustic intervention. The frequencies didn't force healing to occur, but rather provided optimal conditions for the brain's own healing intelligence to operate more effectively. But the healing effects extended beyond individual therapy. When groups of people engaged in synchronized dreaming sessions, often called dream circles, participants reported not just personal healing, but a sense of collective restoration. Broken relationships were mended, community conflicts resolved, and social tensions eased through shared dream experiences that allowed people to connect at levels deeper than ordinary consciousness normally permits. This suggests that the healing power of dreams might be one of humanity's most underutilized resources. If we could learn to optimize our collective dreaming experiences, we might be able to address not just individual suffering, but the larger wounds that afflict our communities and our world. The divisions between nations, races, and religions might begin to dissolve when people experience their fundamental interconnectedness through shared dream consciousness. The more Dr. Chen studied the neural patterns of dreaming consciousness, the more she became convinced that dreams represent our direct participation in the universe's ongoing creative process. The same quantum principles that govern the behavior of subatomic particles, the same field dynamics that shape the formation of galaxies, seem to be operating in the dreaming brain. As we reach the gentle end of our journey through the landscapes of sleep and dreams, we're left with a profound realization. That October night in Munich didn't just change our understanding of dreams or sleep, or even consciousness itself. It opened a doorway into the deepest mystery of existence, revealing that we are not separate from the cosmos, but intimately woven into its very fabric through the threads of our dreaming minds. Tonight, as you drift towards sleep, remember that you're not simply resting. You're about to participate in the universe's most sophisticated creative process, where memories become wisdom, possibilities become realities, and individual consciousness touches the infinite field of cosmic awareness. Your dreams tonight will heal, create, connect, and explore in ways that your waking mind can barely comprehend. Sleep peacefully, knowing that in your dreams, you are both student and teacher, both observer and participant in the greatest story ever told. The boundary between your sleeping mind and the dreaming cosmos is far thinner than you might imagine, and the insights waiting in that liminal space could change not just your own life, but contribute to the evolution of human consciousness itself.